Introduction to Meiman from Street Fighter. Huang Yuan travels through the world of Marvel and awakens the template of the great general Huang Huan. Just as he prepares to have a happy life, he realizes that something is wrong with this marvel. That bun-headed beauty wearing a blue cheongsam is in a fierce battle with a blonde swimsuit beauty. This is Chunli and Jamie. There is also someone wearing a red ninja suit on the side who is cheering. Is it Huowu? Of course, those three bear kids are also here. Is that Storm across from Iron Man in the sky? Iron Man was beaten so badly. Also, Strange faced the Great Snake, and the Avengers faced the 8 heroes. There are more familiar characters fighting against various villains who want to cause trouble on Earth. Huang Yuan feels that this world is really lively. But he just wanted to secretly pick up some leaks and repair his own golden finger from behind, until he had gathered all 6 infinite gems for the extermination. Okay, your stone is mine now. Chapter 1. The director of the Divine Shield Bureau who misses days. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In 1995, Xinjiang was appointed as the Xinjiang branch of the National Land Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau. Not yet 97, so I am still in the hands of the UK. As a thug in the Security Council, of course, I have set up a branch here. That is to say, the department later renamed as the Divine Shield Bureau. In this era, it could also have a few more words. Of course, calling it the Snake Shield Bureau now may be more appropriate. A young man was sleeping soundly on a big bed, and looking at the messy environment and casually discarded women's clothing on the side. It was clear that the battle last night must have been very intense. The door of the bedroom was rudely kicked open, making a loud noise. But the man on the bed seemed to have not heard him, still sleeping soundly until he was pulled up from the bed. When are you still sleeping? It's already afternoon, Huang Yuan. The woman who pulled Huang Yuan up was, to be precise, a beautiful woman who was 1.7 meters tall. The black long hair is tied with a long rope into 2 white bun heads, which is very retro. Her delicate facial features exude the charm of traditional Eastern women, yet exude a strong sense of heroism. The blue tight qipao fully reveals the tall figure, and the perfect curve can make 99% of women in the world feel ashamed of themselves. And the most attractive part of women is definitely their incredible long legs. The black stockings make the contours of the legs clearly visible, replaced by a beautiful and plump curve from bottom to top. That perfect peach butt will definitely trigger the madness of countless experienced drivers. But if you think this is the other person's flaw, then you are wrong. If you want to do something with these legs, then you will be greeted by a storm like leg shadow until you are sent to hell. The woman's name is Chunli, and she is the Deputy Minister of the Xinjiang branch of the National Land Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau. The person who was held in the hands of Chunli was Huang Yuan, the head of the Xinjiang branch of the Land Strategic Defense and Logistics Support Bureau in this area. Huang Yuan had messy short hair, and her eye bags could be used as smoky makeup. With the swaying of Chunli, her young and handsome face finally opened its eyes. Huang Yuan saw the beautiful face of Chunli in front of him and said, "Are you still dreaming? Then let's sleep a little longer." Chunli saw Huang Yuan fall asleep again, her eyes narrowed, her silver teeth clenched, and veins sprouted from her forehead. Qigong palm. With a loud shout from Chunli, white qigong waves rushed out of her palms and headed towards Huang Yuan's head. Bang! Huang Yuan's hair became an explosive head, and he was truly sobering up. "Hi, it's Chunli. Good morning." Huang Yuan greeted Chunli with a sunny face, warm like a sunny and cheerful big boy. If it weren't for knowing how unreliable Huang Yuan was, Chunli would have been deceived by Huang Yuan's performance. But Chunli is too aware of this guy's bad behavior. She must have gone to hang out with those fox spirits again last night. Chunli pouted disdainfully and said, "You better keep these and deceive those little girls. I won't eat this kind of trick. Also, there's someone from headquarters. You need to go see them later." Don't make any more excuses, otherwise our branch's funds will be deducted again. After speaking, Chunli threw Huang Yuan back onto the bed and turned around to walk away. The swaying slender waist made Huang Yuan unable to resist swallowing her saliva. Ah, Huang Yuan sighed helplessly and tidied up her hair that had exploded. Every time someone comes to the headquarters, it means there's trouble again. And he, Huang Yuan, the traveler, hates trouble the most. Not to mention the trouble of the Divine Shield Bureau. The establishment of the Divine Shield Bureau is aimed at guarding against potential dangers that could harm the world. Other petty thieves, gang conflicts, and drug trafficking by robbers will not disturb their drive at all. So its mission is to work hard every time. Huang Yuan is not the kind of foolish person who risks his life with criminals just for a few slogans of justice. Although he has his own golden finger, the template of the pirate world and the great general Yellow Ape. But in this world dominated by Marvel, the great general Yellow Ape is not invincible either. Not to mention the director of the Cosmic Family Planning Commission, Meiman, who wiped out half of the universe's population with just a snap of his finger. He is a father-level powerhouse like Odin, far exceeding the size of a yellow ape. Moreover, there are also ruthless people everywhere on Earth, and even a slight mistake could potentially lead to dangerous characters. So Huang Yuan only wants to stay in this branch until the end of the world. Even if 97 returns, I believe the people of the Huaxia Divine Spear Bureau will not object to a guy who just fools around and waits for death. Anyway, with the Avengers and the protagonists going to save the world, it's not a big deal to have more of them, but a big deal to have less of them. Huang Yuan never thought that if he was a time traveler, he would always be the protagonist, and the world would revolve around him. In Marvel World, with so many time travelers, he could be considered one of the older ones. Moreover, this is not just the Marvel Universe. Chunli, who just violently awakened Huang Yuan, is a character in the world of street dominance. After saving Chunli who fainted on the roadside, Huang Yuan was entangled by this woman. She even found connections and joined, now also known as the Xiangjiang branch of the National Land Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau, becoming Huang Yuan's right-hand man. What's more, that Malefax Xia, bald soy egg, likes most is Chunli, an innocent maverick, who approves of Chunli's participation. From then on, the days of Huang Yuan's leisure are gone forever. Chunli runs around the world to track down the whereabouts of her enemy Vega. There was no way, and Huang Yuan didn't want to lose this useful assistant. He could only reluctantly help her wipe her buttocks. Well, a few days ago, Chunli and Uncle Jiu, that old guy, just dealt with a group of zombies used by Xiao Ri to trade drugs, but they introduced Xiao Ri to a great yin and yang master. Huang Yuan had no choice but to take action and turn the great yin and yang master into ashes. However, he himself was poisoned by the great yin and yang master's emotions and needed to find 2 women to vent for 7 days and 7 nights in order to be relieved. Huang Yuan has put in too much effort for his lovely subordinates. This time the headquarters sent someone here. There must be something big happening, otherwise they wouldn't have come to this small place. Since Xiangjiang decided to return, the Divine Shield Bureau has basically abandoned Xiangjiang's branch, which is destined to be taken over by the Divine Spear Bureau, so only Huang Yuan can handle it on his own. Huang Yuan's body turned into a golden stream of light and instantly moved within the room. Wearing a yellow-orange suit, with a yellow-toed mirror on his face, the yellow edge of the white cloak behind him appeared in the room. Overall, it highlights an attitude that is incompatible with drug gambling. This is the ability of sparkling fruits to move at the speed of light. The yellow ape template obtained by Huang Yuan requires Huang Yuan to imitate the image of the general as close as possible, which is why Huang Yuan wears a yellow-orange striped suit all day and a white cloak behind. Make it look like a dark and inexperienced expert, or an old-fashioned expert like the Godfather. Fortunately, General Huang Yuan doesn't like smoking, otherwise Huang Yuan would have been holding a cigar all day, which would have completely destroyed Huang Yuan's handsome image. Huang Yuan walked out of the room, facing the sunset sky. The red fiery clouds represented that it would rain tomorrow. What a bad weather. Just as Huang Yuan was sighing about bringing an umbrella tomorrow, a group of people walked towards him. A white man in front of him opened his hands to Huang Yuan from a distance. Haha, Huang Yuan, my brother, have you eaten it? I miss you so much. The person gave Huang Yuan a big hug, and the fully formed Mediterranean made Huang Yuan feel dizzy. Phil Colson, currently a Level 7 agent of the Divine Shield Bureau, is the new director of the Mavericks and a trusted subordinate of Nick Fury. At the same time, they were also classmates of Huang Yuan at the Special Agent School. After graduating and joining the National Land Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau, they separated their operations. Lazy Huang Yuan, as an Asian, was transferred to Xiangjiang to become a member here. After completing several tasks, he was promoted to the position of minister here. But Huang Yuan felt that it was the former minister who didn't want to stay in this hopeless place anymore, so he left this place to Huang Yuan and returned to the headquarters on his own. And Phil Colson joined Nick Fury's team, embarking on a path of rapid promotion. Of course, Huang Yuan will not envy the other party. This is completely what Colson exchanged for with his originally thick hair. Speaking of which, it seems that there are quite a few bald heads at the headquarters of the Divine Shield Bureau. There shouldn't be any pollution, right? Huang Yuan pushed away the newcomer and said with a disdainful expression, Colson, where did you learn Chinese etiquette? It's too fake. The guy who taught you should be sent to Siberia to dig potatoes. Find Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Phil Colson didn't feel any embarrassed and said with a smile, Huang, don't pay attention to that guy. I'm here to talk to you about something important. Huang Yuan quickly made a gesture of crossing his hands and said, Stop it, Colson, you know me. I am just a small person with no strength or background. It's better for you to go find the Little Day branch for such a big deal. I heard that a ruthless person has emerged from him. Colson seemed to know that Huang Yuan would evade, so he took out a check and waved it in front of Huang Yuan and Chunli, saying, this year's budget, as long as your Xiangjiang branch helps us complete the task. Your budget has doubled this year, and next year's budget can also be fully disbursed. Huang Yuan's eyes immediately lit up, swaying left and right along with the check. Their Xiangjiang branch had little money. Huang Yuan suspected that the soy egg head had embezzled it to build a safe house. Otherwise, why does he have a powerful safe house wherever he goes? In addition, every time that little girl Chunli makes a move, she causes a lot of damage, which makes the budget of the Xiangjiang branch even more tight. Even the consulting fees paid by Huang Yuan to female teachers need to be paid out of her own pocket. But how could money possibly corrode Huang Yuan's steadfast heart? Money, why don't you just come out and take a walk? Huang Yuan is still very popular among those girls. Impossible, I'm not the one to bow down for 5 demi. Huang Yuan politely refused Colson's temptation. But Colson's next sentence immediately reversed the situation. This incident seems to involve a warlord named General in the Golden Triangle. General. Chunli's face changed greatly when she heard the name. Chapter 2. Chunli and Unreliable Subordinates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Chunli was young, her mother passed away and she could only learn martial arts from her father. However, when Chunli was in her teens, her father was defeated and killed by a strong man named Vega. In order to seek revenge, Chunli embarked on a path of constant strength. Under Chunli's pursuit, Vega's identity also showed a hint of pride. Vega created an organization called Ingluo, collecting various powerful warriors to fulfill her ambitions. And Vega's external title is General. So when Chunli heard Colson say that this incident involved the general, her expression immediately changed. Chunli's originally relaxed and pretty face had arched eyebrows, her round legs trembling slightly, and her fists clenched. She would never want to miss the opportunity to find the general. Now comes the opportunity. Chunli turned her head to look at Huang Yuan, her eyes filled with hope and determination. Huang Yuan couldn't help but sigh when he saw the eager gaze from Chunli. Sure enough, Colson is here to cause trouble. With the presence of a general, Chunli will definitely participate in this operation, and if Chunli participates, it will be the participation of the Xiangjiang branch. Huang Yuan stared at Colson with an unfriendly expression. This guy must have been intentional. He had long known that Chunli's obsession with the general was why she used this to lure her. But Huang Yuan still couldn't stop Chunli's action. Revenge was her greatest wish. Huang Yuan walked over and pinched Colson under his armpit, saying fiercely, "You bastard, you're going to cause trouble as soon as you come, right? You know, I just want a stable life." Colson didn't get angry either, but chuckled and said, "Huang, you know it too. I just wanted to stop those bad guys. You have both strength and the ability to stop others. I hope you can help me, and I am willing to pay any price." Seeing Colson's sincere gaze, Huang Yuan lost his desire to refute. From the beginning of our acquaintance, Colson had this personality. He always held good intentions towards the world and wanted to protect innocent people, even at the cost of his own life. Perhaps this is also the reason why Colson was favored by Nick Fry. Huang Yuan let go of Colson and said displeased, "Okay, my Xiangjiang branch will cooperate with you. Tell me what it is." Colson took out a photo of a circular sphere. There are various metal substances adsorbed on the surface of the sphere, and the entire sphere is eerie like a living creature. This is something discovered in a cave in Africa, suspected to be extraterrestrial material. But when we found out about the situation, the sphere had already been robbed by someone. The robbers were very professional and suspected to be from a military background. Later, all the robbers died in the African jungle, and only one person escaped. Huang Yuan always feels very familiar looking at the objects in the picture. When he heard Colson's introduction and saw the standard big nose face, he finally remembered. The movie starring Jackie Chan. Who Am I? It is precisely this movie that made Jackie Chan famous worldwide. The stunning jump on the glass roof is still talked about by people today. Huang Yuan cast a sideways glance at Colson and said, "I think you should have a clue. Even the mastermind should know, right?" Huang Yuan can be remembered. I am the biggest villain among them, and it is the beautiful director of the Central Intelligence Agency, Morgan. For this kind of intelligence, Huang Yuan does not believe that the Divine Shield Bureau will not be able to detect it, otherwise it would be in vain for the Divine Shield Bureau's great reputation. But now they are still searching so loudly, it seems that something unexpected has happened. Colson was choked on by Huang Yuan's words. Of course, he couldn't say it because a special agent from the Divine Shield Bureau accidentally exposed the target and was detected by the other party in advance. That's why unexpected events occurred, and we had to rely on the power of Xiangjiang. After all, the only survivor is the Xiangjiang people. Chen Jack, a member of the Xiangjiang Special Operations Force, is currently being seconded by De Meili to carry out a mission. Colson took out another piece of paper and handed it to Huang Yuan. This is the information of that person. Morgan, the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, is also the overall director of the CIA in the African theater of war. Huang Yuan took the paper but didn't look at it and threw it directly to Chunli. This kind of petty person doesn't need to remember, they are only responsible for dealing with bigger ones. Colson, let's share any more information together. I don't believe even a branch director can handle it. We still need the power of our Xiangjiang branch to come forward. Colson finally said seriously this time, our cable men have reported that Morgan has found a bigger buyer, and that person is likely the general stationed in the Golden Triangle. General, it's really scary, it's really a headache. Huang Yuan scratched her head. He certainly doesn't want to trouble the general now. The strength of the Shadow Luo organization is still very strong, and the strength of Vega is not bottomed out. In Marvel's Power Division, Vega can definitely rank in the popular category. You should know that although Spider-Man is very popular, his strength is only second-rate. In Marvel, the top players are all perverts like the Hulk, which shows the strength of Vega. Otherwise, Southeast Asian countries will not continue to allow Vega to make trouble in the Golden Triangle. Huang Yuan doesn't have the confidence to defeat Vega now. His yellow ape template is still at 70%. To have the strength to defeat Vega 100%, at least 80% of the yellow ape templates need to be unlocked. Unfortunately, Chunli, that silly girl, won't miss this opportunity and can only take a step and see. I hope the headquarters of the Divine Shield Bureau will send some people to help. Colson ignored Huang Yuan's mischief and continued, I am not the commander of this operation. There will be a more qualified commander to command. Colson saw Huang Yuan's eyebrows furrow, knowing that the other party was worried about the commander's reckless command. Colson quickly said, don't worry, this commander is absolutely qualified. You will feel relieved when you see him. Huang Yuan had no choice but to trust Colson, and he was not meant to be completely obedient to the commander if he wanted to do something. Huang Yuan will let him know that regret has no cure. After receiving a promise of help from Huang Yuan, the Colson group left the Xinjiang branch and needed to contact the military to provide weapons and mobile support. And here at Huang Yuan, he was looking at Chunli with an excited expression and sighing. Chunli looked firmly at Huang Yuan and said, I know you don't want me to go find Vega, but this is an opportunity to learn more about him. As long as we can capture a few of his subordinates, we will know most of Vega's information, which will be of great help for us to defeat him in the future. After all, only his subordinates know about the situation at the Vega headquarters. Huang Yuan looked at the beauty in front of him with some surprise. He never knew that Chunli was so rational that she was not completely overwhelmed by the news from Vega. Chunli stuck out her tongue and made a face at Huang Yuan, saying, I'm not a rascal, you playboy. Huang Yuan looked at the distant Chunli, with a smile on his lips. This youthful, energetic, and quirky elf is the true Chunli. Instead of the vengeful goddess who is filled with hatred in her heart. It would be even better if she could reimburse the female teacher's consultation fee for the past few days. After leaving Huang Yuan's sight, Chunli's smile at the corner of her mouth also faded away. How could her true mood be so relaxed? She was constantly thinking of seeking revenge against Vega, but reason told her that the time had not yet arrived. Moreover, Chunli believes in Huang Yuan, and the other party will definitely help her. Chunli arrived at the door of an activity room and suddenly kicked out her long and sturdy legs. With a loud bang, the door flew into the activity room. Chunli walked into the activity room, where several guys were playing with various equipment. They were Huang Yuan's team in Xinjiang. They are also a group of people who are excluded by the mainstream of Xinjiang. In a corner of the activity room, there are two people playing chess. One of the handsome young people, looking at his focused gaze, was completely unaffected by Chunli. This person's name is Su Shi, a former assassin who, tired of killing, switched careers and became a librarian. However, he also has a name that can be described as thunderous in the underground world of Xinjiang, and everyone calls him the Black Hero. In order to evade the pursuit of the police and his own organization, Su Shi joined Huang Yuan's Xinjiang branch of the National Land Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau after being rescued once. It's like having an official background and finally living a peaceful life. The above is all what Huang Yuan said, and as for whether Su Shi thinks so, no one knows. The person playing chess with Su Shi in front of him was a guy with a big back, chewing chocolate in his mouth, and a smile on his face. Jianghu people refer to Gao Jin as the god of gambling. Gao Jin is not a team member here, he just came to play with friends. However, according to the rumors in the martial arts world, Huang Yuan owed Gao Jin a large amount of money, and Gao Jin came to ask for debt. On the other side, at the book garden www.zhaoshuyuan.com, there is a man who is at least 2 meters tall and is walking on iron. Just looking at the weight of the iron block, it weighs at least 1 ton. Every time the iron block lands, it will hit the soft cushion on the ground a bit and make a dull noise. This person is called He Li Wang, a fugitive who killed the entire prison guards, and of course, he was also taken in by Huang Yuan. Beside King Li, there was a young man punching a sandbag, trembling with every punch he made. However, the sandbag was so eerie that it didn't fly, indicating how skillful this person was in controlling power. This person's name is Xiaolong. During the day, he was a popular martial arts star, and at night, he was the underground black boxing champion of Shangjiang. Xiaolong's most common catchphrase is that during the day, I only dare to shout to fight 10, and at night, I must fight at least 100. Chunli's arrival did not attract the attention of these people, and they didn't care about the gate flying in, continuing their own business. You bastards, if you have work to do, as long as this batch is done well, there will be everything delicious and spicy to eat. Chunli began to stir people's hearts as soon as she entered. No response. Everyone didn't even lift their eyelids. Chunli tugged at the corners of her mouth, can't these bastards give themselves some face? Knowing that these people were not solely driven by money, Chunli immediately changed her strategy. As long as this mission is completed beautifully, that guy Huang Yuan will be transferred back to headquarters. In an instant, the entire activity room became quiet. Everyone stopped and looked at Chunli to confirm if what Chunli said was true. Chunli can even see light in their eyes. How disrespectful that guy Huang Yuan is. Chapter 3. Insertion of Red-Headed Beauty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chunli was there writing empty promises to everyone, while Huang Yuan was in her own cultivation room, checking her attributes. In the depths of Huang Yuan's soul lies a jade pendant, which he found in his previous life from the attic of his hometown. It should be a treasure passed down by his grandfather. Huang Yuan's grandfather was a landlord class and a wealthy man in the previous dynasty. After Grandpa Huang Yuan passed away, his family cleaned up his belongings for him. Huang Yuan liked this broken jade pendant very much and took it with him. Who knew we had traveled together? This jade pendant also brought Huang Yuan a surprise, the system. The check.in system helps hosts better enjoy life. As long as the host signs in, they can receive check.in values. The first beginner gift package opened by Huang Yuan exploded, and he obtained the template of the great general Huang Ape. Every day, Huang Yuan can check in at 10 o'clock, and exposure to major characters in this world can also earn check.in points. For example, Chunli gave Huang Yuan a check.in value of 1,000 points. It was also because of the system's reminder that Huang Yuan realized that the woman she saved that night was Chunli. At that time, Chunli did not wear her iconic qipao. These check.in values can be used to add points, help Huang Yuan quickly strengthen, and can also be used to buy things. Unfortunately, the store function has not been activated. It should be due to incomplete jade decoration. And every 100 check.in points can improve the fusion degree of the yellow ape template by a little bit. And Huang Yuan's attendance value has also accumulated over the past 3 years. Check-in time. 16,040 hours. Existing template. Yellow ape, the great general of the pirate world. The development rate of sparkling fruit is 70%. The percentage refers to the difference in strength that Huang Yuan currently possesses compared to the peak state of the yellow ape. Navy Type 6. Paper drawing, 20%, iron block, 20%, finger gun, 50%, moon step, 50%, shaving, 50%, lawn jiao, 50%, dot. Dominance. Armed color dominance, 60%, herd color dominance, 20%, and dominant color dominance, not enabled. 30% development rate for life return, swordsmanship development rate is 60%. Store not open, these are the powers that Huang Yuan has developed over the years. Although there is still a large part that has not been fully developed, with Huang Yuan's current strength, he can already be called a strong player on Blue Star. Huang Yuan felt that he should be no weaker than Spider-Man, and in some places, he even surpassed him. At least Spider-Man wouldn't be able to fly. Moreover, the most important thing is that these strengths were not enhanced by Huang Yuan's attendance value. But it was gradually cultivated by Huang Yuan himself, and the yellow ape template comes with the method of cultivation. You can also cultivate on your own without relying on the system's bonus points. Huang Yuan's father, who will always remember his past life, once said to him that only things he has personally experienced are truly his own life journey. Whether it is suffering or happiness, they are truly their own wealth. Although check.in value can quickly strengthen Huang Yuan, its strength is like a fortress on the beach, easily washed away by the waves. Without undergoing painful trials, Huang Yuan did not feel that she would truly be strong. At least in terms of willpower, Huang Yuan doesn't think that the guy who adds points can match him. Just like Thor, the god of thunder, his strength is strong enough, but before he truly awakens his firm will, he is just a reckless man who relies on a hammer to smash people. So over the years, Huang Yuan has been practicing for at least 5 hours a day until he fully controls his own power. As for the check.in value, it's not too late to use it again when Huang Yuan feels like there's nothing to enter or when the store is open. Moreover, compared to previous lifetimes, the pleasure of being able to live a few days in a single game character. Feeling like I'm gradually getting stronger, isn't it even happier? This kind of happiness is also the main reason why Huang Yuan cannot give up. Becoming stronger can really be addictive. Huang Yuan once again started his daily exercise. First, he started his moonwalk and ran in mid-air in the basement. Then, he went further and transformed into a golden light, moving at high speed in the basement. Although it claims to move at the speed of light, after years of testing by Huang Yuan, the true speed of the great general Huang Yuan is not as fast as the speed of light, only 100 times supersonic. But after his elemental transformation, he was able to shoot himself out like a laser, accompanied by golden light, making people think he was really moving at the speed of light. If it really moves at the speed of light, then no one can see his movements, and even light cannot catch up with him. But this does not mean that Huang Yuan cannot reach the speed of light in the end. Although there was no scene of the yellow ape awakening in the previous life of One Piece King, Huang Yuan believes that as long as the sparkling fruit awakening is achieved, then the speed of light movement should not be a dream. And Huang Yuan also has a dream, which is to develop his own speed of light skill. For example, moves like Lightspeed Fist, who is Huang Yuan's favorite anime character, or the Golden Saint among saints. Those cool moves are much more beautiful than the chaotic battles in Pirates. You should know that the speed of light skills of General Huang Yuan are all laser-like abilities, which are completely incompatible with Huang Yuan's imagined hot-blooded combat. After practicing his movement speed, Huang Yuan's hand began to condense a golden lightsaber, which was slowly dyed black, as if coated with a layer of film, armed with a powerful aura. This is an advanced application of armed colors and also Huang Yuan's favorite way of fighting. Compared to the exaggerated special effects of sparkling fruits, using cherry blossoms can effectively conceal oneself. After all, when doing bad things, one cannot be seen by others. Huang Yuan still cannot achieve the goal of invisibility by killing everyone he sees. Huang Yuan doesn't want to be noticed by the soy egg head, let alone the Hydra. Otherwise, trouble will come one after another. Huang Yuan hates trouble. The next step is to cultivate Huang Yuan's unique swordsmanship, which involves night battles in all directions. That's just a few blind chops. In the world of One Piece, there are great swordsmen and various sword techniques. But the most commonly used combination is still speed and strength. So as long as the speed is fast enough, no one can catch their weaknesses, nor can anyone crack their invincible swordsmanship. Speed is strength. After Huang Yuan warmed up enough, he held his sword with both hands and directly sent out countless slashes towards a certain place. In an instant, countless golden lights accompanied by sword energy tore through the air and struck the steel-reinforced stone platform. Despite controlling the force, the stone platform was still riddled with wounds and holes cut by sword energy, almost considered scrapped. Upon seeing the scene before her, Huang Yuan rubbed her head and murmured, "Trouble, I'll be nagged by Chunli again." Flying slash, the symbol of a swordsman, is also the strongest move of Huang Yuan today. If the power of the fruit is added inside, the damage will be even more terrifying. Unfortunately, Huang Yuan cannot reach the level of being at will, and the two can only be used separately. After practicing swordsmanship, Huang Yuan practiced skills such as seeing and hearing color dominance and paper painting for a while. Unfortunately, these skills are too natural or can only be improved faster during battles. Anyway, Huang Yuan is only able to use these abilities, and there is still a long way to go to achieve the level of being at will. Not to mention developing domineering abilities such as future perspectives. Huang Yuan practiced for 5 hours before completing most of his skills. This is also where Huang Yuan feels the most troublesome. The more skills he has, the more time he spends. If Huang Yuan continues to develop new abilities in the future, it will take even more time. So what Huang Yuan really wants is a place where he can cultivate. It's like a spiritual time house in a Dragon Ball. When Huang Yuan came out of the cultivation room, a group of excited guys were standing in front of him. Don't ask Huang Yuan why she knew they were excited. You can tell from the strange expressions on Li Wang and Xiao Long, as well as the happy eyes that Su Shi couldn't help but show, these guys are very happy. Did you find yourself stealing funds from the branch to pay for the consulting fees of a female teacher? They want to collectively bully themselves. It's still this group of people who realize that they have always been doing their best to train them, and they come to thank themselves. But Huang Yuan was mistaken. Chunli walked out with a smile and said, "Minister, we will do our best to complete this task perfectly and satisfy the headquarters." "Yes, yes. Minister, I will definitely give my all in this mission to help you win a good head at headquarters." Li Wang pounded his chest to prove his determination. Xiaolong quickly pulled the brainless thug behind him and said with a smile, "Minister, what we're saying is that the budget for the headquarters has doubled this time. We must work hard and get this money. When the time comes, we'll eat delicious food and drink spicy food, won't we?" Xiaolong winked at Su Shi. Su Shi also spoke up and said, "Not bad. I was just thinking of changing houses in Shallow Water Bay, and having this money would be perfect." Everyone unanimously decided to complete the task well, in order to repay Huang Yuan's long care, and at the same time, to shine and provide warmth for the Xiangjiang branch, and to protect the citizens of Xiangjiang. Little Dragon is roaring in his heart, hurry up and get lost. Bastard. Zhaozuiyuan.com. I always grab the top card that I admire. If it weren't for not being unable to win against you, I would have sunk you into Victoria Harbor long ago. Li Wang touched the still slightly painful rib, although he had the protection of the Vajra immortal skill, as well as his innate divine power and sturdy body. But it couldn't stop Huang Yuan's fist wrapped in armed and domineering colors. Every time I practice, Li Wang is the one who gets beaten the hardest, and he is also known as helping to train his ability to resist attacks. So being able to escape the clutches of Huang Yuan is also the most positive for Li Wang. Su Shi also touched the bruise at the corner of his mouth. Although his pain nerves were cut off, he still knew it was embarrassing. Every time Huang Yuan fiercely attacks his handsome face, even Buddha has fire. Are you jealous, you premature aging guy? Only Chunli was taken care of every time she practiced and was not injured, so her thoughts were also the purest. Find clues to Vega. Huang Yuan looked at the crowd who seemed to have been beaten with chicken blood, feeling confused. In the end, it can only be attributed to my own great charm, and my subordinates finally truly understood this truth. I am indeed a man with infinite charm, even these stingers have been impressed by me. Huang Yuan couldn't help but feel emotional towards himself, unaware of the bad intentions of these guys. On the other hand, Colson also welcomed his teammates. A woman with three-dimensional facial features and a seductive aura between her eyebrows. She had wine red hair flowing freely, wearing a tight black combat suit with many small items on it, which were her external weapons. At the first sight of the beautiful woman, Colson reached out his hand and said, "Nice to meet you, Ms. Natasha." Chapter 4. The First Sight of the Black Widow. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Natasha Romanoff, the top spy of the former Soviet Red House. After the disintegration of the Soviet Union, the defector escaped from the Red House and has just been recruited by the Divine Shield Bureau. This mission is the first one for the Black Widow and also a test for her. She needs to prove her abilities and loyalty, so the Black Widow is absolutely dedicated to this mission. Where's the helper you're looking for? The Black Widow's first question when she saw Colson was her own helper. She doesn't want those useless armies to help. To deal with a general like him, he doesn't have the strength to surpass ordinary people, he just goes to deliver vegetables. Colson smiled and said, "I'll definitely satisfy you. I'll wait and see." The Black Widow tilted her head and revealed a charming smile. But neither of them noticed, while a man in black behind them looked at them with eerie eyes. There was a small camera working on the man's clothes. I have captured all the footage just now. Bangkok, Thailand. In a small and rundown hotel, a white man was shouting and cursing loudly over the phone. "Bastard, I almost got caught by that group of guys. Is that how you help your allies?" The voice on the phone was calm and indifferent, saying, "Director Morgan, it was your subordinates who didn't do a good job. Someone escaped and discovered you. We are not responsible for this matter." The white man is exactly the target of Colson's mission, CIA Director Morgan. "Okay, I'll take care of that guy, but don't make any more fuss. I want money, a lot of money, otherwise I'm not sure what I'll say to the public." After Morgan's actions were exposed, the CIA was not too biased towards him. Although it is widely known that the CIA is the world's largest drug dealer and arms dealer, it still requires a beautiful face. This kind of eating inside and climbing outside cannot happen again. In the end, the CIA had to give up on Morgan and start looking for him. This is also the reason why Morgan fell into this predicament. Morgan hung up the phone in anger, but his eyes were filled with fear. He certainly knows the strength of the other party, which is a powerful force that can compete with the CIA. But there's no way, Morgan doesn't want to die yet, he doesn't want to be thrown into the incinerator as garbage and disappear from the world. In order to survive, he needs a new support. With this in mind, Morgan picked up his phone again and said, "Hey, General, I agree to your proposal. The things are already on their way." And just as Morgan hung up the other end of the phone, Alexander Pierce took off his glasses on his face and gently wiped them with a cloth. Standing in front of him was a towering man, also known as the Crossbones by Block Romlo. "Of course, I heard the phone call just now and immediately spoke out, I'll set off now to deal with him." Alexander Pierce put on his glasses again and looked out the window. In the distance, a huge building was rising from the ground. That is the new headquarters of the Divine Shield Bureau, the three-winged building. "Don't worry, our good friend will help us solve his problem, that's a Black Widow." At noon, Huang Yuan met the person in charge of this mission. Wearing a tight black combat uniform, it seemed like I was wearing it, but it seemed like I wasn't. Although she doesn't have the thrilling long legs of Chunli, this woman's figure is definitely at the pinnacle of beauty. Especially the turbulent abyss, even surpassing Chunli. Moreover, this person has a style that Chunli does not have, which is that of a cold and charming female boss. If Chunli is like a young beauty just out of school with a mature figure. This is a career beauty who has been through the wind and moon for a long time, yet is as pure and lustful as the first cry. Watching this beautiful woman with a figure that was definitely not inferior to Chunli, Huang Yuan immediately came up with a name in her mind. Black Widow Natasha Romanoff. I didn't expect this Black Widow to join the Divine Shield Bureau so early. Ding, Black Widow Natasha Romanoff, 1000 check.in values. Huang Yuan listened to the sound of the system in his mind and felt a little happy. He was indeed a member of the main character group, just grand. You know, that guy Colson only gave 200 sign-ins back then. Colson pointed to the Black Widow and introduced herself to the crowd. This is the new Natasha agent who has joined our Homeland Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau and is also the highest commander of this mission. This is Huang Yuan, the head of the Xinjiang branch, who is also a skilled expert, and his subordinates are all outstanding behind him, said Colson, pointing to Huang Yuan and his entourage. I know. The Red House once had information about Minister Huang, and even the 3 families of the imperial family who were young had suffered losses here. The Black Widow seemed to have already known the names of Huang Yuan and his companions. The Black Widow looked at Huang Yuan with a seductive gaze, her pale gray eyes seeming to sparkle, and even a fool knew the meaning behind them. Undoubtedly a Black Widow, she has just defected from the Red House and has not changed her habit of using beauty to lure prey. As for the Black Widow's mention of the 3 houses of the Little Day Palace. Of course, it's the grass-shaving family, the 8 gods family, and the divine music family, who are the royal family's official thugs during these 3 small days. A few years ago, Xiaori wanted to get his hands on the market in Xinjiang, so he sent people from the 3 imperial families to Xinjiang, hoping to conquer Xinjiang's underground world. But how could this kind of thing not cause a rebound? Even Huaxia Inland has sent experts to infiltrate the Xinjiang River to block these guys. Huang Yuan also led his subordinates to engage in several battles with the imperial family. Of course, Huang Yuan did not exert all his strength, he just beat up the old man from grass shaving in Chaizhou. The rest of the people were defeated by the experts of the Divine Spear Bureau. Huang Yuan also became good friends with one of the beauties, the kind of good friend who can try on clothes together. The reputation of the Yuzhen family is also considered a considerable force in the world, and Huang Yuan's ability to defeat the grass-shaved Chai boat is worthy of the title of Xinjiang branch minister. This is also Huang Yuan's biggest achievement on the surface of the underground world. The Black Widow kept casting seductive glances at Huang Yuan, but some people couldn't bear to watch anymore. Chunli stared at the seductive woman in front of her with unfriendly eyes, and could smell the pungent odor from afar. This kind of woman should be thrown to Siberia to dig potatoes. Huang Yuan saw Chunli standing in front of him and could only reluctantly shrug at the Black Widow, indicating that he was powerless. The rest of the guys were enjoying themselves eating melons on the side, and this kind of open and secret struggle between women was the most interesting. Chunli and the Black Widow looked at each other, as if countless electric currents were crackling. Both of them are rare beauties. A model full of Eastern charm, and a perfect fusion of wildness and gentleness with high height and long legs. The other is a typical Western beauty, with fair skin and beautiful appearance, sexy and charming, and a charming expression. Her whole body is filled with Western classical beauty, like a great ocean horse. The 2 of them had their chests exposed, but it made the old driver watching beside them feast their eyes. The scene suddenly spiraled out of control. Natasha is not actually such a strong personality. But this is her first time leading a team on a mission, and also her first time joining the Divine Shield Bureau. Be sure to complete it perfectly. So she doesn't recommend trying the strength of future teammates. After all, hearing is believing, seeing is believing. In today's world, there will never be a shortage of people who talk big. Seeing 2 women is about to cause Mars to collide with Earth. Xiao Long didn't mind the big deal and secretly opened his mouth, saying, Black Widow wins 1-3, Chunli wins 1-1, bet quickly. Cut, who would be foolish enough to blackmail the widow? Betting on Chunli won but didn't lead to a win, it's boring, said Li Wang. This group of people seems to have a strong belief in Chunli's combat power and will definitely defeat the Black Widow. Although Black Widow Natasha was also a combat agent developed by the Soviet Union, proficient in various combat skills and equipped with Soviet versions of super soldier serum injections. Although not comparable to Captain America, it can still be considered superhuman. But Chunli has been under Huang Yuan's command for so long, she's not just eating dry rice. Not to mention Chunli, she is already a powerful martial artist who uses qi. Zhaozuiyuan.com. Even being trained by Huang Yuan is not something that ordinary people can enjoy. Although due to physical reasons, Chunli is still unable to learn the powerful skills of Huang Yuan. But Huang Yuan will also use the power she has mastered to help Chunli and others improve themselves faster. The power of life return can actually help others quickly recover from physical injuries and physical strength in Marvel World. I don't know if it's the ability that comes with returning life or the ability to mutate in the Marvel World. Huang Yuan discovered that although humans in the Marvel World are not as naturally physically strong as those in the One Piece world, but the people in this world have unlimited potential. As long as they practice well, they can quickly reach the level of humans in the world of One Piece. Perhaps this is also due to Marvel World, which has an infinite power limit. Is Chunli and Xiaolong just with the help of Huang Yuan? After just a few months of cultivation, their physical fitness has greatly improved. In just a few more months, you can reach the point of barely practicing the 6 styles of the Navy. This is also the reason why Xiaolong and others have such confidence in Chunli. The Black Widow felt the vague hostility around her and could only shake her head, giving up the confrontation with Chunli. She doesn't want to offend the people in the Xiangjiang branch just because of one test. Huang Yuan breathed a sigh of relief, fearing that Chunli might at least beat up the Black Widow. Chunli sat on the chair with a plump and round curve, making the chair creak. The atmosphere relaxed and the planned layout truly began. The Black Widow swayed her hips and walked to the front slide, pointing her baton at several photos on the canvas. General. Chapter 5. Task Start. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Morgan, former CIA director, has defected. According to our informant's report, he has appeared in Thailand and should be trying to make a deal with the general. Vega, nicknamed General, is the leader of the Shadow Luo group, an extremely dangerous criminal, and a key target of the Homeland Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau's surveillance. Unfortunately, Vega's strength is too strong for our surveillance personnel to approach, otherwise they will be killed. We have already sacrificed more than 10 excellent agents. In addition to these 2 people, there are also Vega's subordinates, all of whom are extremely vicious thugs with extraordinary abilities that require special attention. The Black Widow talked confidently and analyzed the power of the entire Vega. Undoubtedly, it is the Divine Shield Bureau. These materials have basically fully covered Vega's power. Everyone was also listening quietly, and even Chunli didn't ask any questions. It was also the first time she knew that the power of Vega was so great. Chunli felt helpless for the first time in her heart. Can she really seek revenge? Huang Yuan has been keeping an eye on Chunli's situation. Seeing Chunli's ugly face, Huang Yuan knew that her heart would not calm down, so she could only use her eyes to comfort her. But she was scolded back by Chunli with a white eye. He's unjustly accused. I didn't want to tease her at this time. At this moment, Su Shi raised a question. Commander, are you sure our target is just a metal ball? As the calmest person in the Huang Yuan team, Su Shi is always able to pinpoint the problem with a single shot. The Black Widow nodded confidently and said, not bad, our mission this time is just to retrieve the metal ball. Fighting against Vega is not something we can accomplish yet. Since it's just getting the metal ball back, I suggest dispatching the elite team directly to execute the beheading on Morgan, and not allowing him to unite with the general. Su Shi's suggestion immediately received a response from everyone. After all, no one wants to fight the general for nothing. The Black Widow shook her head and said, no, we have confirmed that Morgan did not carry the metal ball with him. He used other methods to transport the metal balls, and we can only retrieve them in one fell swoop during the transaction. Also, there are clues indicating that Jack Chen has also arrived in Bangkok, and he may be a key figure. It seems that a big war is inevitable, and Huang Yuan and others nodded at the Black Widow, indicating that they would obey orders. Since you have decided to participate in the mission, a soldier still possesses the basic qualities, and obeying the commander's orders is the primary task. However, the Black Widow also has no intention of breaking up Huang Yuan's team. After all, Huang Yuan and his team are already familiar with each other and are a mature combat team. Breaking up or joining a new team recklessly may disrupt the team's rhythm. This is a taboo on the battlefield. As an elite agent and commander, Black Widow would not make such a mistake. Afterwards, several people began to discuss the matter of fighting in Bangkok. Bangkok is the capital of Thailand and the largest drug sales hub in Asia. On the streets of Bangkok, the presence of drug traffickers can be seen at any time, and even the Bangkok authorities have drug trafficking backends. Although countless tourists come to Bangkok every year, there are also countless tourists who disappear in Bangkok. Most of these people were taken away by human traffickers, while a small portion were captured by organ trafficking organizations. But all these people were identified as missing by the Bangkok police. Because the Bangkok police are the largest black forces in Bangkok, the general also has a huge influence in Bangkok. So in Bangkok, it's impossible to catch Morgan unnoticed. Fortunately, the task of Huang Yuan and others is not too difficult. As long as they retrieve or destroy the metal ball, it can be considered as completing the task. As long as he doesn't fall into the hands of the general, the Black Widow's mission will be completed. And according to the reports, Vega has not left his headquarters, indicating that Vega does not care much about this metal ball. When it comes to attacking opponents, it should be those security personnel and Bangkok police. These guys from the other side, the Divine Shield Bureau is completely using their swords to kill chickens. Colson took out a silver box and placed it on the table, taking out several things like mobile phones from the box. This is a detector developed by scientists in the Bureau. It can receive special bands emitted by metal balls, and as long as it is within 1 kilometer of the metal ball, the detector will sound an alarm. And this thing is also the latest communication tool, better than Motorola's phones. In this era, it is still a time when Motorola's Big Brother is popular, and people can be seen on the road holding big bricks to feed. Huang Yuan and his companions each picked up a detector, and the time had already been determined. Tomorrow, everyone will set off to Bangkok, the evil capital of Asia. The cool breeze at night lifted Chunli's long hair, revealing her beautiful face full of memories. Chunli sat on a lawn, holding onto Haisai's legs with both hands, as if only in this way could she feel a little warmth. "What are you thinking?" Huang Yuan's voice came from beside him. Chunli quickly turned her head to prevent Huang Yuan from looking into her eyes. Huang Yuan lay on his back on the grass, with his hands resting behind his head, staring at the starry sky above him in a daze. "Chunli, do you know that I actually have a family, or a big family? My dad and mom always show their love in front of me, asking me to eat dog food every day at Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. There are younger brothers and younger sisters, but they make mistakes and can only let me cover them up. I'm so annoyed. There are also uncles, aunts, and cousins, many people." Chunli listened to Huang Yuan's rambling talk about her past, not only without getting tired, but also with great interest. Although she knew that Huang Yuan was from the inland, she had never heard him talk about her past, nor had she seen him visit her family. Previously, Chunli thought that Huang Yuan also had no family. But today I finally heard Huang Yuan's past, and she felt like she had also integrated into this big family, crying and happy together. Chunli sat next to Huang Yuan, burying her head in her knee and tilting her head to look at her. That expression is sad, nostalgic, but without pain. "Why don't you go back and see them? They must miss you very much. You also want to go back, I can tell." Chunli's voice seemed like a distant longing, never knowing how many dimensions came from afar. That was his home. He has his family. Huang Yuan didn't speak, just quietly looked at the starry sky, with a slight flicker of light flashing through the corners of his eyes. The next day, the members of the Huang Yuan team had arrived at the British military base and were going to Bangkok by British military plane. If they take Meimang and have just boarded the plane, they will receive news there. Just then an unexpected guy appeared. "Ah! Sister Chunli, I miss you so much." A female voice came out from the nearby carriage, followed by a beautiful figure rushing into Chunli's embrace, burying her head in the deep and bottomless groove. Chapter 6. Yazi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The person who came here is also someone Huang Yuan knows. Huang Duya, a senior inspector at the Xiangjiang police station, is called Yazi by others. Chunli touched Yazi's hair in surprise and asked, "Why did you come?" Yazi immediately stood up straight, looked up and straightened her chest, and saluted with a military salute, saying, "Senior Inspector Huang Duya of Xiangjiang police station, report to the chief." "I will represent the Xiangjiang police to cooperate with your actions," Yazi said with a serious expression, completely devoid of the little girl she had just looked like, showcasing the demeanor of an elite female police officer. At this moment, everyone also looked at Yazi seriously. She was wearing casual clothes, but her beautiful figure couldn't be concealed. Coupled with her captivating and seductive eyes, she was definitely the kind of top-notch product that could make the old driver unable to stop. No one could have imagined that such a charming beauty was already a 6-year-old police officer. "Are you going too?" Chunli looked a bit embarrassed. Yazi nodded and said, "I am here as a representative of the Xiangjiang police to cooperate with you. According to our investigation, the survivor Chen Jack, originally named Chen Jiajiu, is a senior inspector of our Xiangjiang police. We also need an explanation for his situation. Moreover, you are all unfamiliar with him. If there are any issues, I can communicate with him as well." After listening to Yazi's answer, Chunli could only nod and agree to Yazi's joining, although she did not want Yazi to go on an adventure with herself and others. The general's threat is too great, but his subordinates are all powerful warriors. Although Yazi is an excellent police officer, he is not a match for these guys at all. We can only protect this girl more. Chunli thought of it this way. She treats her child like a younger sister. At this moment, Huang Yuan walked up and looked at Yazi getting stuck in Chunli's arms, feeling a bit toothache. He said, "You girl, don't be scared and cry when the time comes." Of course, Huang Yuan was very familiar with Yazi, and even before meeting Chunli, Huang Yuan had already met Yazi. After all, his first encounter with Huang Yuan was handed over to Yazi, and the first time he was swept into the bureau by Huang Yuan. At that time, Huang Yuan had just broken through a new realm and celebrated with great joy. Unexpectedly, he drank a little too much and was caught by the fishing boy in a daze. Afterwards, Huang Yuan could only consider himself unlucky. Who would have thought this woman was too tempting? Afterwards, Yazi discovered Huang Yuan's figure going to the nightclub multiple times, but couldn't even catch his hair. So Yazi became interested in Huang Yuan, got rid of the uncle of the senior police officer, and found Huang Yuan's information. Although Huang Yuan appears to be just a security guard on the surface, his true identity is not difficult to find. After all, he is an organization jointly established by the 5 major hooligans and needs to be registered. After learning about Huang Yuan's identity, Yazi became very interested and began to make contact with her. She quickly learned about Huang Yuan's strength and came to Huang Yuan's place to seek help when she encountered difficulties. Huang Yuan naturally ignored this little girl. Until Yazi promised heavy profits, as long as Huang Yuan collected all 10 IOUs, she would let Huang Yuan have a good time. Unfortunately, until now, Huang Yuan has never been happy. Upon hearing Huang Yuan's voice, Yazi immediately glared angrily and whispered, "You bastard, I haven't even reconciled with you yet. What did you do to me last time? Little girl, don't spit blood on me." Huang Yuan looked at Chunli with a hint of guilt. "I saved you with kindness. Are you repaying your kindness like this?" Is that right? The child was a bit puzzled. Then why did I change all my clothes? Did you change them? Upon hearing Yazi's words, Chunli's eyes became noticeably sharp. Feeling at risk of being cut by a firewood knife, Huang Yuan quickly saved herself and said, that was replaced by the hotel staff. Don't spit blood out of your mouth. Can he tell the other person that he kindly helped her with cardiopulmonary resuscitation, which is why he tore open her clothes? Thinking of the temptation of Yazi's fiery red attire, Huang Yuan could only show respect with a slight hardness. And I am saving someone is innocent. Moreover, it was the clothes that started with, and it hooked onto its own thumb. Yazi was speechless when Huang Yuan scolded her, and she later asked, but no one saw Huang Yuan's animal behavior. Huang Yuan saw Yazi being suppressed and suddenly took out a booklet, flipped through a few pages, pointing to one of them and saying, "This is the number of times you owe me XX. When are you planning to repay it? Don't default on your account, you signed it yourself." The weather is nice today. Chunli, let's go over there and see the scenery. Yazi suddenly looked up at the gloomy sky and pulled Chunli away, feeling a bit embarrassed. Those things are all benefits promised by Yazi when seeking help from Huang Yuan. Of course, the child will never admit it afterwards. I can't hear. In Huang Yuan's heart, there was only the incessant murmur of the devil's voice from Yazi. This woman really wanted to pay off the debt, it seems that she still charged less interest last time. Next time you want to ask for your help, make sure she pays the interest first, Huang Yuan fiercely retorted in her heart. Chunli looked at the two of them playing with each other with a helpless smile on her face. Soon everyone boarded a British transport plane and set off. Huang Yuan's team and the Black Widow's team did not operate together. Huang Yuan and his team were responsible for blocking any possible experts that the general might have. The Black Widow and others are searching for Morgan and the metal ball. The two teams will depart on two separate planes, which is also for greater safety. Chunli sat quietly next to Huang Yuan, and neither of them mentioned anything about last night. But the two of them seemed like further friends, with a hint of family feeling. When the plane arrived in the air several tens of kilometers away from Bangkok, Huang Yuan and others walked to the hatch at the tail of the plane. Zhaoshuyuan.com In order to avoid the general's eyeliner, they should get off the plane early, otherwise they will only be known by the general at the first time when they get off the plane in Bangkok. Xiaolong and others are all wearing parachutes. As members of the Divine Shield Bureau, skydiving is a necessary skill, and Yazi is also an elite police officer, so skydiving is not a problem at all. Just a group of bloated guys, looking at a leisurely dressed Huang Yuan together. With the power of sparkling fruits, Huang Yuan certainly doesn't need anything like a parachute. He pointed at everyone and said, "Everyone, let's take a step first. I'll wait for you below." After speaking, Huang Yuan turned into a beam of light and rushed towards the sky. Flying is amazing. Xiaolong complained softly, but he had been salivating for Huang Yuan's ability for a long time. Unfortunately, if one's physical strength is not sufficient, it is impossible to cultivate advanced skills like moon steps, otherwise they will only stomp their feet into flesh and mud. This is also the pain in Little Dragon's heart. Of course, the others were also envious, who wouldn't want to fly in the air. That is one of humanity's greatest dreams. Then everyone jumped out of the military plane one by one and flew towards a marked point on the ground. The 5 of them were all skilled paratroopers who quickly landed and gathered together. Huang Yuan also appeared beside them. Just now, Huang Yuan did not land directly, but was guarding around the 5 people to prevent any accidents from happening again. Not far ahead, there are vehicles waiting for them. These are the reception personnel arranged by the Divine Shield Bureau. The vehicle is a Mercedes-Benz business car, which is the most commonly used black version in crime movies. Doing bad things is most suitable. The guide handed Huang Yuan a map indicating the general's influence in Bangkok, which is also the most likely trading location. Bangkok International Hospital. Chapter 7. The Darkness of Bangkok. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Does this guy still have a hospital? Little Dragon asked in surprise. Yes, General is the largest chain hospital shareholder in Thailand, and he even has hospitals throughout Southeast Asia. Is he afraid of doing too many bad things and wanting to gather virtue? King Li also asked in confusion. A most heinous criminal, yet associated with a hospital that saves lives and helps the wounded, looks very peaceful no matter what. But Huang Yuan said coldly, opening a hospital doesn't mean we need to treat and save people, maybe we need to kill better. Huang Yuan can be remembered. In his past life, Thailand was revealed to be the world's largest trading ground for human organs. Countless people come to Thailand every year to purchase organs. Where do these organs come from? Of course, it is impossible for someone to voluntarily donate. Basically, all organs are taken from living people. Thailand has even developed a complete ecosystem of organ trading. A person can sell money from head to toe, starting from the cornea, heart, liver, spleen, lungs, kidneys, blood, and even seeds. Until the end, only a pair of dry bones remained. This is a hell. Listening to Huang Yuan's cold talk, everyone felt a chill from the bottom of their hearts. Yazi even covered her small mouth, afraid to breathe heavily. This kind of buying and selling live people as livestock has already violated the most basic bottom line of humanity. No normal human would tolerate such things. Didn't anyone notice? Little Dragon said angrily. How could so many people who transplant organs every year not be discovered, but who can manage it? Huang Yuan's tone was sarcastic. The Thai royal family is the biggest umbrella, they have completely acquiesced to this kind of transaction, and the biggest buyers of this transaction are those powerful figures. Some old Rockefeller guy has changed 6 hearts, you wouldn't think they were all voluntary donations, would you? Upon hearing these things, everyone fell silent. Yeah. These powerful figures only need organs, but they don't care where the organs come from. Naturally, someone will help them take care of it. And in this process, no one cares how many people will die, except for their families. Ah! Little Dragon shouted with a flushed face. He, who was born just, couldn't bear to see such things the most, but the reality of oppression made him powerless. She turned her head to look at Huang Yuan and said, "Boss, you must have a way, right?" Hope rose in everyone's hearts and they all looked towards Huang Yuan. Huang Yuan shook his head and sighed, as long as there is still someone who needs it, this kind of thing won't end. After listening, everyone fell silent again, as if they had seen that helpless scene. The atmosphere suddenly became suppressed. Huang Yuan patted the dejected little dragon and said, although this deal cannot be completely terminated outside, we can make some changes and wait for the task to be completed. Let's do something in Bangkok. Upon hearing that Huang Yuan had a solution, Xiaolong immediately regained his energy and shouted, "Boss, what do you say to do?" "I, Xiaolong, will never blink my eyes." "Yes, I will never let those guys go either." Su Shi and Chunli also looked firmly at Huang Yuan. Yazi's eyes were filled with small stars, and her gaze towards Huang Yuan was full of admiration. This man is serious and still so handsome. I really want to take him home. So in the next few days, everyone searched for the whereabouts of the general's subordinates while learning about the situation in these hospitals. Just as everyone was waiting, a person appeared in front of them. Oh, that's a domestic foal. Yazi was holding a telescope to observe the situation at the Bangkok hospital when she saw an unexpected person appear. Jack Chen, the only surviving robber. Huang Yuan took the telescope and looked ahead. Sure enough, an iconic big nose appeared before his eyes. "Uncle Long, is that you?" "Uncle Long. It's just that Qin Jiaju seems to have caused trouble." Behind Qin Jiaju, there was a group of black-clad men chasing him relentlessly. If it weren't in the bustling city, these guys would have pulled out their submachine guns and fired. Sure enough, wherever Uncle Long is present, there will definitely be trouble. Follow him, we will gain something. Huang Yuan pointed at Qin Jiaju. Qin Jiaju is running for his life. Since losing his memory, he has been either running away every day or on his way. He doesn't know what he has done, but the whole world seems to be killing him. CIA, criminal gangs, and even the police. He no longer knew how many rounds of pursuit he had escaped, but Qin Jiaju knew that he was getting closer and closer to the truth. The closer you get to the truth, the more dangerous it becomes. He has already escaped several batches of pursuers like the ones behind him. Qin Jiaju ran desperately and knocked the pedestrians on the sidewalk upside down. Just as Qin Jiaju was about to be caught up by the pursuers behind him, a furniture city suddenly appeared in front of him. Ding! The furniture city god of war has been launched. Just like making a movie, in front of Huang Yuan and others, they witnessed this magical scene with their own eyes. Qin Jiaju was like a fish in water in the furniture city, using various unimaginable moves to defeat more than 10 fully armed black-clad men. And the only injury he had himself was a sprained foot, you can believe it. So strong. Little Dragon sighed. Although he can also deal with these black-clothed people, hot weapons can still harm himself. He can't possibly solve this group of guys unscathed. But Qin Jiaju did it. Huang Yuan didn't speak, he couldn't possibly say that Uncle Long was just fighting fiercely in the furniture city and could only flee when he left. Watching Uncle Long limp into a small alley, Huang Yuan and a few others followed in. Just a pistol suddenly appeared, pointing at Huang Yuan's head and saying, "Who are you, why are you following me?" Pointed at by Qin Jiaju with a gun, Huang Yuan had no expression and was looking at the newly received check that IN value. Ding, sign into Qin Jiaju at 1500 o'clock. The check that IN value is even higher than that of a black widow. Should I say that I truly deserve to be Uncle Long? Yazi immediately walked out from behind Huang Yuan and said, "Jiaju, don't you know me anymore? Am I Yazi?" Yazi. Qin Jiaju looked at Yazi with confusion, and some memory fragments began to flash through his mind. Ah! Watching Uncle Long holding his head in agony, Huang Yuan stepped forward and knocked him unconscious. He said to the crowd, "Let's go back first." Everyone immediately drove away from here. In the evening, while everyone was having dinner, Qin Jiaju finally woke up. He looked at everything in front of him in surprise, then suddenly turned around and drew his gun at the person who appeared at the door. "If I were you, I wouldn't point a gun at my benefactor." Huang Yuan placed the fast food in her hand on the table. He just felt Qin Jiaju wake up and brought him dinner. "Who are you, why did you catch me?" Uncle Long didn't put down his pistol, he could feel that the man was extremely dangerous. Facing him is like facing a giant beast in the wilderness. Zhaoshuyuan.com. For his own feelings, Qin Jiaju believes very much that this is his life-saving ability to turn danger into safety every time. So, Qin Jiaju is already considering jumping out of that window to be intact. "Jiaju, you're awake." Just as Qin Jiaju was thinking about how to escape, Yazi also appeared in the room. "Yazi, is that you?" Qin Jiaju looked at his acquaintance in surprise. Although not in the same police station, Yazi and himself are still very familiar. Who knows that Yazi's uncle, Inspector Huang, is his superior? Yazi looked at Qin Jiaju in surprise and said, "Jiaju, have your memory been restored?" The information from the Divine Shield Bureau has stated that Qin Jiaju has lost his memory due to a brain injury. But now it seems that Huang Yuan's move just now has brought back Qin Jiaju's memory. When Qin Jiaju saw his acquaintance, he finally let go of his guard and began to tell a few people about his experiences during this period. Not far from the city center of Bangkok, outside a luxurious sanatorium, several teams of people are monitoring the opposite sanatorium separately. Black Widow and Colson were bored as they watched the monitor footage. This is what the informant said, Morgan's new residence. They can only closely monitor everything here for the metal ball. To pass the boring time. Is that Huang Yuan very familiar with you? Natasha asked casually. Natasha is still very interested in Huang Yuan. Because her last task as a Red House agent was to incite Huang Yuan, who was the head of the Xiangjiang branch. Huang Yuan. Colson didn't notice Natasha's small movements and his mind sank into memories. Chapter 8. Colson and Black Widow beaten. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huang Yuan and Colson graduated from the Special Operations College of the Divine Shield Bureau together. Two people with vastly different personalities became good friends. Huang Yuan is a powerful agent, and can even be considered the most capable player in the bureau. Colson couldn't help but laugh when he remembered how Huang Yuan had beaten the instructor and never dared to appear in front of him at the Secret Service school. Huang Yuan is still a man with a strong sense of justice, willing to fight for all kind people and evil. Colson remembered the scene where Huang Yuan was willing to use his own body to protect the little girl under the gang car in order to save people. That was still the day before graduation. Afterwards, Huang Yuan attended the graduation ceremony in plaster. This is also the reason why Colson is willing to become friends with Huang Yuan, both of whom are willing to sacrifice themselves to protect kindness. He just kept hiding his true inner self with a lazy surface, Colson said with some emotion. He remembered that every time the assessment at the Special Operations College was held, it was the beginning of Huang Yuan's battle of wits and courage with the teacher. In order not to fail the exam, Huang Yuan calculated everything. Natasha cannot imagine that the man who is incompatible with drug gambling would be a good man. She asked with confusion, why didn't Huang Yuan stay at the headquarters, but went to a remote branch like Xiangjiang? In theory, Huang Yuan is the frontline personnel most needed by the Divine Shield Bureau, but he has become a sub-minister in a remote area. Not to mention that Xiangjiang is an international metropolis, it can only be a remote area far from the world center for the world situation. In this era of rising summer and declining Britain, Xiangjiang is just a chicken rib, tasteless to eat and regretful to discard. Upon hearing Natasha's question, Colson couldn't help but twitch the corners of his mouth a few times. In Natasha's curious gaze, Colson could only say, when he graduated, his usual score was only 1, which was the lowest in the class. Natasha certainly knows what 1 point represents, which indicates that this student is an incurable bad embryo and not suitable for becoming a spy. What did he do? Natasha was really curious. He seduced the school's female psychologist to pass the psychological assessment, Colson whispered, as if saying something embarrassing. Is that all? Natasha didn't quite understand. Normally, the score is scored by the teaching director, and the female psychologist is the wife of the teaching director. Most importantly, the female psychologist was tempted and even discovered by the teaching director. Colson covered his face and said with a look that was hard to look back on. Natasha could imagine the expression on the head of the teaching director when he noticed the green hat and everyone's mockery. It is indeed something that Huang Yuan can do. Since then, Huang Yuan has been staying at the Xiangjiang branch, but I have been proposing to the higher-ups to transfer Huang Yuan back to the headquarters. He and his subordinates are rare talents. Colson has a completely planned idea for his old friend. If Huang Yuan finds out, he will definitely have a duel with this guy who disrupts his peaceful life. Just as the two were discussing Huang Yuan, several figures had already approached a hiding place of a special agent from the Divine Shield Bureau. These few people are not dressed like armed personnel. One of them wore a white mask on his face, with long hair braided into a braid, and steel claws in his hand shimmering with cold light. Baroque, one of the 4 heavenly kings of shadow, nicknamed Iron Face, is also the most trusted subordinate of Vega. He is a warrior who pursues beauty and hates ugly things extremely. Watching like a mouse, monitoring the special agents in the nursing home. What ugly guys they are, they shouldn't exist in this world. After Baroque finished speaking, his figure had already disappeared. Quickly, someone ahead shouted, "Enemies, open fire." The sound of gunshots, screams, and roars came from the house in front of them. Seeing Baroque rushing into a barrage of bullets, the remaining few people didn't make any moves. Solving this kind of situation, Baroque can do it alone. The fact is the same. The sound inside the house quickly stopped, and all the agents of the Divine Shield Bureau inside were killed by Baroque alone. But Baroque, who walked out of the house littered with corpses, did not have any stains on his body, indicating that Baroque's strength had reached the level of non-human beings. Upon hearing a gunfight ahead, Black Widow and Colson quickly rushed to provide support. But when the Black Widow and Colson arrived, they only saw blazing flames and corpses hanging from streetlights. "Damn it, who is it?" Colson shouted angrily with red eyes. These people are all his comrades in arms. But now he has been cruelly murdered by someone, how can we not make Colson angry? However, Colson did not lose his composure due to anger. The alarm on his left hand had already been pressed, and a radio wave rushed rapidly into the distance. Afterwards, it's about finding the enemy. Being able to intentionally hang a person on a lamp post indicates that the other person is an extremely mentally abnormal person. So I will definitely appreciate my work in place. I didn't make Colson wait long. Swish. 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 Several figures suddenly appeared, standing on several street lights. Indeed, there are still comrades. Baroque's steel claws rubbed against each other, making a piercing sound. On the other lamp posts, several figures also appeared. A woman wrapped in a tight black combat suit, unlike the fully attached style of a Black Widow, her combat suit is more like a swimsuit. The woman also wore a black mask on her face, but the exposed lower half of her face and a head of golden long hair indicated that she was a young woman. Jamie, the leader of the December Guards under Vega's command, nicknamed Killer Bee, is also a modified Vega clone. It is also one of Vega's physical backups. Behind Jamie stood two young girls dressed the same as Jamie. They are the guards of Vega, members of December, and they are all body backups prepared by Vega for themselves. After a few people appeared, they all looked coldly at Colson and Natasha, as if looking at two annoying bugs. The enemies have all appeared, but what Natasha and Colson didn't expect was. Surprisingly, these four people are so tricky. The Divine Shield Bureau certainly has information about these individuals. Each of them can be said to be the ace in the ace, a military king-level existence. Your general's subordinates, why kill my people? I'm just looking for Morgan, not you. The Black Widow attempted to delay time through words in order to wait for the arrival of Huang Yuan and others. Unfortunately, the Baroque had no intention of talking nonsense to the Black Widow. It is a truth that everyone knows that villains die from talking too much. Baroque's eyes flashed with a golden light, and his figure had already appeared in front of Colson. His steel claws were shining with a cold light, ready to open Colson's chest. If caught by Baroque, Colson can also prepare for resurrection in advance. But how could Colson be such an easy dog to carry person? Don't underestimate me, you bastard. A bullet hit Baroque's steel claw, swinging it out directly. Colson already had two Glock pistols in his hand and fired at Baroque with all his might. As an elite agent, Colson is not just relying on lip service. As the top scorer in gun fighting at the Special Agent School, Colson cannot be easily dealt with. Although lacking the non-human physical qualities of Huang Yuan, Colson also relied on his talent and hard work to cultivate the strongest move in gun fighting, the Death God bullet curtain. The Glock pistol in Colson's hand is also a masterpiece modified by black technology, with a loading capacity several times that of a regular pistol. Colson fired a barrage of bullets alone. However, Baroque's speed did indeed exceed Colson's reaction limit by a lot. Seeking Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com can easily avoid Colson's muzzle and reach the gap to deliver deadly steel claws. There was no way, but Colson could only transform into a god of death and scatter Glock in all directions, forcing Baroque to retreat 2 meters away. In this way, Baroque's figure quickly moved around Colson, ready to take action to kill this ugly Mediterranean man at any time. Colson, on the other hand, was shooting with all his might to resist Baroque's attack, but it was only barely possible. If it weren't for his Glock pistol being specially modified and carrying hundreds of specially designed ammunition, he would have been unable to hold it anymore. Just when Colson was in danger. The Black Widow on the other side has been beaten back by 2 December members. In fact, the members of December alone are not a match for the Black Widow. After all, these girls are just inferior products accelerated by Wei. But the 2 only attacked and did not defend. It was a completely life-for-life tactic. In addition, the 2 of them cooperated harmoniously, fully exerting the power of 1 + 1/2. If she doesn't want to die so easily, the Black Widow can only defend with all her might. The constant use of auxiliary props on the combat suit disrupted the rhythm of December, barely maintaining the situation. The form of combat has also become increasingly dangerous. After all, Colson's pistol is not infinite in bullets. When the pistol makes a clicking sound, Baroque moves. The whole body was like a top, charging towards Colson with its steel claws as the center and its remnants. Baroque Flash Vortex, Baroque's ultimate skill, can easily tear open the enemy's body and tear them in half. Colson only had time to shield his hands against his chest to receive this unparalleled blow. What a danger! Chapter 9. One Mouth, One Monster. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Colson was closing his eyes and waiting to die, a voice appeared in his ear. Immediately after, in front of everyone, countless golden dots converged into a human shape. Wearing a yellow striped suit, wearing a yellow-toed mirror, and a white cloak behind, hunting sounds. The protagonist will certainly appear in the final moments. The arrival of Huang Yuan immediately surprised Colson and Natasha, let alone Huang Yuan's appearance in such a cool state. Just Colson quickly realized something was wrong. The place where Huang Yuan appeared was actually on the path of Baroque attack on Colson. Just as Huang Yuan's body condensed and formed, Baroque's ultimate move had already reached Huang Yuan. Like a whirlwind, the steel claws grabbed onto Huang Yuan's chest. Be careful, Huang. Colson loudly reminded him. Although he didn't know how Huang Yuan arrived, Baroque's attack was never physically unstoppable. He doesn't want to see his friend die in front of him like this. Are these people all monsters? How terrifying. Huang Yuan turned to look at Colson and asked. Just that cheap tone, but it only makes people want to hit him. Huang Yuan spoke, but his right hand had already reached out. The pitch-black right hand, as if stained with ink, met Baroque's steel claws in this way. I want to block my Baroque flashing vortex with my hands and seek death. I will tear you apart with steel claws. Baroque smirked inwardly, his body spinning faster and charging towards the palm of Huang Yuan's hand. Wow, it's so dangerous, so scary. Huang Yuan's right hand finally touched the Baroque steel claw, but he sighed again in his mouth. Saying terrifying words, but with a mocking expression on his face. Baroque felt contemptuous and his anger involuntarily surged towards his forehead. The strength in Baroque's hand increased a bit again, and the steel claws were like a high-speed rotating head, directly rubbing violently against the yellow-edged black right hand. It's just such high-speed friction, but there's no sound or spark generated at all. Everyone only saw Baroque's body constantly retreating against the yellow edge. But it cannot penetrate the thin black in Huang Yuan's hand. Actually, Huang Yuan was also surprised. This Baroque has actually broken through his 3 layers of armed color dominance. If it weren't for being proficient in using flowing sakura to repair damaged parts, now we could only use elemental evasion. Wow, you're really as strong as a monster. Huang Yuan sighed. You are the monster, right? Everyone looked at Huang Yuan's hand turning black and roared in their hearts. Is this something that humans can do? Especially Baroque companions, they knew too much about the strength of Baroque's steel claws. That's a weapon that can tear steel apart like tofu. I can't tear open a human palm now. Who can believe this? After more than 10 seconds, Baroque's rotation finally came to an end. He dodged and retreated to the distance, looking at Huang Yuan with a wary expression on his face. Just now, this man actually blocked his steel claws with his bare hands. His steel claws were crafted with a little bit of gold, and even Vega wouldn't dare to face his weapons directly, let alone just his physical body. But this man blocked his steel claws with his hands. Who is this man? Just as Baroque's face was solemn, Huang Yuan took the next step. Without any preparation, Huang Yuan's body turned into a golden light and appeared behind the Black Widow. Wow, it's so scary. I don't know if it's a lament of the enemy's strength, or a lament of the deep abyss in front of the Black Widow's chest. Huang Yuan's hands directly met the long legs of the 2 December members. Bang, bang, 2 December members were pushed back a few steps by the anti-seismic force. Huang Yuan shook her hand and felt a little numb, although it was because she did not activate her armed color dominance. But the transformation that these women have undergone is not simple either. And it seems that the Black Widow who has been fighting with 2 December members for so long is not weak. It's really scary, each one is as strong as a monster, so troublesome. As soon as Huang Yuan spoke, he became the old MT and immediately attracted the hatred from the whole audience. This guy's character is really bad. The Black Widow needed her sore and weak arm and withdrew to Colson's side roast. Natasha gasped for breath and pulled down the zipper of her black combat suit, releasing the immense oppressed majesty inside. Although there is still the existence of this underwear, the strong sense of oppression has finally been released. If it weren't for this high-tech nano combat suit from the Divine Shield Bureau, Natasha would have been killed just now. The current Black Widow and Colson have both lost their combat effectiveness. Colson's pistol ran out of bullets, and with his close combat ability, he could only deliver food to the enemy. Natasha, on the other hand, exhausted her strength and her arms were heavily scarred. After all, the attacks in December were not vegetarian, and each strike could break a branch as thick as a bowl. They can only pray now that Huang Yuan really has the strength to fight against this group of experts. Watching Huang Yuan, the disruptor, both Baroque and Jamie furrowed their brows. The orders they received were only to take the metal ball from Morgan's hands, and as for the enemies they blocked, of course, they were to eliminate them all. But now, just as the 4 of them hesitated whether to retreat first, 2 more figures rushed into the battlefield. It's Chunli and Xiaolong who fall behind. As for Li Wang and Su Shi, they stayed beside Chen Jiaju and monitored the hospital in the city center with Yazi. Chunli saw Jamie standing on the lamp post at a glance. Chunli is certainly very familiar with the 4 heavenly kings of Yingluo and Jamie. The 2 have even faced each other several times, and they are evenly matched. As the saying goes, enemies are particularly jealous when they meet, and the 2 can also be considered old rivals. Immediately, the sky thunder triggered the earth fire and formed a battle. Bai Lai Jiao. Chunli Jiao let out a shout, and her right leg quickly kicked out, triggering a powerful airflow in the air, like a meteor shower, enveloping Jamie. Chunli's leg speed was even faster than Baroque's just now, and within a few seconds, hundreds of legs were already pounding in front of Jamie. Unprepared ordinary people will definitely be blasted into scum. Just as an old rival, Jamie is not a vegetarian either. Her body was like a swallow, effortlessly dodging all the leg pressure in the raging airflow. As a skilled athlete who also uses his legs, Jamie's speed is not slow either. Zhaoshuyuan.com. Even due to only focusing on killing, Jamie's leg movements are even more fierce and dangerous. Although it lacks the grandeur and composure of Chunli's moves. But it's more like a falcon, only pursuing the destructive effect of a one-hit kill. Chunli and Jamie, both of the same height and legs, are equally round and curvaceous, but the battle showcases the charm of both styles. The two women are considered to be on par with each other, meeting talented individuals and engaging in fierce battles. Just as Chunli and Jamie were fighting, Xiaolong also approached Baroque. Xiaolong is a person with a strong natural sense of justice, and he cannot tolerate the injustices in the world. When I came to Bangkok this time, I heard countless tragic things and had already suppressed my anger. Now that I see Baroque, I can finally vent my emotions. Ah duh. The little dragon screamed strangely, pulling out the double stick from his waist with his right hand. The double stick waved countless shadows in his hand, eventually forming a long stick-shaped dragon that roared towards Baroque. A crisp, ding, sound. Xiaolong's alloy double stick was torn into several pieces by Baroque's steel claws. What? Little Dragon was shocked. His double cutting stick was made of the latest titanium alloy, and even industrial welding knives took a long time to cut. But now it is easily torn into several pieces by Baroque's steel claws. Xiaolong threw out the remaining double stick in his hand and forced Baroque to retreat. With a flick of his left hand behind him, he grabbed another double stick in his hand. Come out and mess around, how could you not have backup weapons? However, this time Xiaolong was much more careful and did not engage in a fierce battle with Baroque's steel claws. Instead, he used the ability of a double-barreled lock to entangle Baroque in time. And Huang Yuan, of course, has set her sights on two beautiful women from December. Chapter 10. 1 Foot, 1 Beauty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The members of December are all combat weapons extracted from Vega's own genes and injected into women gathered around the world, which have been transformed. After being transformed, these girls have gained powerful abilities that can rival those of second-rate fighters. But this transformation also greatly shortened the lifespan of young girls. They won't live to be 20 years old at most. So, these girls are all pitiful people. But poor people must have something to hate. These girls were created by Vega from a young age and were militarized for management, completing brainwashing and training as perfect tools. They have no concept of good or evil at all, only know how to obey Vega's orders. They are full of killing machines. The innocent humans who died in their hands are definitely astronomical numbers. So, the only thing Huang Yuan can do is to give these poor girls a break. The two young girls saw that Huang Yuan had saved Natasha and immediately changed their targets, fully attacking Huang Yuan. Although the girl is petite and cute, her cold eyes are full of murderous intent, completely devoid of any human nature. Fist and leg movements are also attacking towards Huang Yuan's fatal weakness, without any sense of embarrassment. Huang Yuan doesn't want to try his brother's strength, even if he can be immune to damage, it won't work. There will be psychological shadows. Have you ever been kicked by light? Huang Yuan said strange things to the two women, and a golden light had already appeared on her feet. Next is to turn around, kick out, and hit the target. The two of them had not yet realized what was going on in December when a beam of light had already hit them. Bang, bang, with two loud noises, the two girls knocked down more than 10 lamp posts, and finally collapsed a wall of a nursing home before finally falling to the ground. The courtyard wall clattered down, completely burying the two women. Ah! Huang Yuan let out a sigh, mourning for the beautiful life that had passed away. Colson and Natasha, who witnessed the entire process, opened their mouths wide and looked confused. What exactly is this? Mutants, or aliens? Even Colson, who had known Huang Yuan for many years, felt for the first time that his old friend was so unfamiliar. After feeling the withering of the flowers, Huang Yuan didn't care about the things here anymore, but instead, he turned around and came to Colson's side. He sat cross-legged and taunted him. I said, Colson, your strength hasn't improved at all. Did the girls from headquarters look too beautiful and empty you out? Oh, there are benefits. Huang Yuan's eyes involuntarily looked towards the snow-white abyss on the side. Having been keeping an eye on Huang Yuan's movements, Natasha naturally noticed her gaze. But how could the Black Widow show her timidity? Instead, she proudly straightened her chest, and the shaking of the abyss became even more profound. The two of them, one unable to extricate themselves and the other intentionally tempting, were a perfect match. Colson quickly interrupted these two dog men and women, looking at their posture. If he didn't stop them, they would both find a place to fight for 300 rounds. Huang, is this your trump card? Are you a mutant? Colson asked directly. He trusted Huang Yuan and believed that this old friend would not become a greedy villain. But if Huang Yuan is really a mutant, then Nick Fury will definitely have other ideas. The world today is not yet a time of crisis, and mutants have become small problems. Everything must be fought for the survival of humanity. The current mutant is an unstable factor and a key target for the Divine Shield Bureau to guard against. After all, Magneto has just been caught, and the mutants are trying their best to rescue him. Colson doesn't want his old friend to be treated differently. No, I just ate a fruit and it turned out like this. Huang Yuan said. He's not lying, he's just a shining person who ate sparkling fruits. Colson and Natasha are both old agents now, and you can tell from Huang Yuan's tone that he is not lying. But this made the two of them even more interested. What fruit, do you have any more? Natasha pursued with a bright look in her eyes. What kind of treasure is it to transform an ordinary person into such a powerful fruit? Huang Yuan glanced at Natasha again, 2 eyes, 3 eyes, until Natasha's face turned a bit dark before saying, that is a fruit called devil fruit, which can endow humans with various abilities. Unfortunately, when I discovered it, the demon fruit tree had already been destroyed, leaving only this one demon fruit. Really? Natasha didn't know if she believed it or didn't believe Huang Yuan's nonsense. I hope the handsome guy can tell me next time he sees this fruit that I am willing to pay all the price to get it. After speaking, Natasha straightened her chest, indicating that any cost was acceptable. Just defected from the Red House, Natasha was in the most insecure moment. If she had this power, she could live a stable life. Natasha is not a naturally adventurous woman, these are just life's pressures. Huang Yuan shrugged without answering. If there is a demon fruit exchange available after opening your system store, as long as the price is appropriate, Huang Yuan does not recommend using it to exchange for some benefits. After all, the strength of the Black Widow Natasha is really a bit far-fetched, and she is just a vase in the Fu Lian. On the side, Colson showed a thoughtful expression, as if he had remembered something. The three of them stopped chatting and their gaze turned to the 4 of them fighting. The battle between Chunli and Jamie has reached its most intense level. For slender and strong thighs danced in the air, occasionally emitting powerful energy that pierced through the nearby nursing home. Some of the armed militants inside have fallen ill with blood mold. Not only did they not attack Chunli, but they were also ravaged by the rapidly moving two as sandbags or hidden weapons. Jamie's leg movements are sharp and decisive, just like a hunting falcon pursuing a one-hit kill. Chunli's moves are flawless, flowing like clouds and flowing water without interruption, yet with hidden dangers. Just 2 people constantly fighting back, resisting, kicking, and then being forced back, but their strength is completely evenly matched. Huang Yuan was also delighted to see this spring-lit battle. As long as Chunli was not in mortal danger, he was not prepared to lend a helping hand. After all, fighters want to enhance their strength and fight evenly matched enemies, which is the fastest way. Zhaozuiyuan.com. Unfortunately, there was no pressure on Huang Yuan's side, but Jamie was anxious in her heart. Although Jamie doesn't care about the fate of December now, it also indicates that the mission has failed. Not to mention the man who can instantly kill December, even Chunli in front of her has gained strength no less than herself. For Jamie, who only wants complete tasks now, this is an intolerable failure. Jamie turned to look at Baroque and Little Dragon in battle again. Although Baroque still had the upper hand with his steel claws, Little Dragon had adapted to the opponent's attack and was brewing a counterattack. I can't wait anymore, this is the only thought in Jamie's mind. In an instant, a dangerous aura appeared on Jamie. What? Huang Yuan stood up in surprise and looked at Jamie with a serious expression. What's wrong? Colson and Natasha quickly got up. Huang Yuan didn't care about the two of them, just stared at Jamie. He felt a breath of soul power from Jamie. As Huang Yuan, who is proficient in the domineering world of the Pirate King, he is no stranger to the power of the soul. It should be said that domineering is an application of the power of the soul. It is the fusion product of soul power and physical power, which is why it can harm the elemental transformation of natural fruits. Because it directly harms the soul. The strongest domineering color is an application that completely unleashes the power of the soul. But now, Huang Yuan actually saw traces of soul power on Jamie. Although still very weak, beginner. But it cannot be denied that this is the power of the soul. Interesting. Huang Yuan stared intently at the two women who were going to fight next.